Hey, what's up? It's Kelly back with another video. Today I'm gonna be talking about Squid Games. Look at how long my sleeves are. This is not my lighting. I'm going to be giving my final analysis on Squid Games, and I'm gonna be finishing my Halloween candles. So let's get started. First, I just get a little pot, my double boiler. I fill it up with water. Not the whole way, just a little way. This is one of my little buckets of wax. Squid Game is a series about a poor society that's preyed upon by a rich person who creates a gamble-like survival children's game for 456 people each year. And one day Jihan, a poor valet driver, is on his way home and he's asked to play a game for a lot of money. He wins, is given a card. I'm using soy wax. So he calls it and he decides he wants to play more games for more money. Jihan makes friends and enemies. He goes through mental and moral trials. And in the end, despite his heart, he wins, and then he is challenged to be the great hero that he was always meant to be. So that is basically Squid Games summed up real short. So now let's break it down and get into it. So basically there's a theory that Oh-il and Jihan are related. This is due to the fact that in one of the episodes when the guards are handing out the food, admitted to Jihan that his son was lactose intolerant as well, because Jihan can't have white milk. He can only have chocolate milk. This is what it looks like as it melts. I freaking broke my graduated cylinder. I'm so sad. These candles are bubblegum scented, so that's what we're doing today. The theory that Jihan and Oh-il are related is pushed even further due to the fact that in episode 6, when Oh went crazy, he stated that he raised his son in a neighborhood like the one that they were playing the game in. And Jihan stated that he also grew up in a neighborhood like that. So people were saying perhaps Jihan's dad, aka Oh, raised Jihan in his childhood neighborhood. And that theory is pushed even further by the fact that it's very obvious that Oh is looking for an heir. I was trying to get better lighting, but I guess it's just not going to happen for me tonight. So basically, we already know that Oh is looking for an heir due to the fact that he is dying. And so he really liked Jihan. That was his, gambu. The fact that Jihan won, I believe that, he had hopes. Of course, they had hopes of making him an heir, which was, that was known to us at the end of episode 9 and I believe the frontman asked Jihan to join them, didn't he? And Jihan rejected him. Because Oh doesn't have any family members, which was clear when Jihan saw him in the hospital and he was in there by himself, freaking dying. Jihan's hair represents the power that he now has, because before all the contestants that were in the games with him, they all chose blue envelopes, and so now by making his hair red, he's making a new choice. To be honest, all these theories just kind of fall into the same place. So I mean, the channel Heavy Spoilers has a video on their theory about Squid Game, so you should definitely check that out. They basically stated that since Jihan has proved that he's willing to do whatever it takes and abandon his family if possible, since he didn't go to the plane to go see Guyan in the US, he could now become the very thing that he hates, low-key like the frontman did when he played the games and then ended up becoming the frontman, then killing his brother for the sake of the games. Especially because Jihan is a gambler. So now he really has nothing to lose. So I personally believe that it's kind of like a training or conditioning camp to see who can be the next one, perhaps. But honestly, personally, I just really don't know if I could see Jihan running the games because he's so nice. I just personally feel like these are my colorings. I use the liquid now. I really don't know if I could see Jihan coming back and being the new frontman or something like that, because he's so nice and he has such a good conscience. If anything, I feel like he would be more likely to enter the games again and try to stop the frontman or the whole entire facility. And I was just dang, too bad the secret detective, his name is Gun-ho, too bad he died, because I would have loved to see them team up, because Gun-ho knows about the freaking bombs in the freaking cave, for the freaking VIPs. But to be honest, Heavy Spoilers also left a little tingle in my mingle and said that Gun-ho might not be dead because he was shot in the shoulder, and his brother was also shot in the shoulder, I guess, and he's still alive. So we're gonna see, because he also fell into the ocean and was never seen again. So, cause you know what you do, just remember your name. Laying us, baby. Pick up. So, this kind of stank. My personal theory, okay, so this is really long, but my personal theory is that the game is a symbol of life. Basically, like, you wake up and you're dressed on an island and you don't know where you are, kind of like when you're born and you grow up. So then you go to your first game and you walk through a facility that symbolizes the rat race of society, like the stairs and all like the different doors and stuff. And I believe that the doors could be a representation for the different experiences or like windows of life. And so the first game you play is in a playground setting, and if you don't win, you die. You cross the line and you enter the next field. You'll cross the line and you enter the next field of life, and then you get a bit older and you decide if you want to continue or go back to safety with your mom, kind of like you want to go play outside with your friends or stay inside, I guess. Be a different person, like, to redo life. You get another chance to redo life when you go back home to your mom. You continue to grow through the game mentally and physically, sometimes taking risk while being forced to make friends, like if you're in high school, kind of. And then to top it all off, you're trapped in a room with unrestrained people just like you who are just trying to live and make money. Perhaps this is a symbol of society and our relationships and the amount of people that go through an average person's bubble. Like perhaps this is considered our like social bubble. You make relationships and then you're completely blindsided when you have to cut ties with people, and you learn how to deal with loss, like in episode 6. Because they had to cut ties with people they loved, literally, like, their wives and things like that. So I really didn't want to use this spoon, but here I go. I'm just adding the color and stirring after I cooled down the wax and I was mixing together the fragrance in my broken cylinder. So you're completely blindsided, and perhaps that's like college and high school. And then in the end, you're left with a woman and 2 men. And I feel like that's kind of like the average situation that you're going to like eventually grow through. And in the end, there are 2 people left. I feel like perhaps this is marriage. And you fight to the death, to death do us part. And despite Jihan wanting to coexist, Sang-woo killed himself because he knew he was a terrible person. Which was kind of like Jihan's growth through witness in a way. He just didn't realize it yet. But in the end, Jihan wins and is rich, and his whole entire conception is now complete. He can now begin his new life as a rich man. And that's what, got my theory about the training and conditioning thing going that I mentioned earlier, because perhaps this is what they do in this show's world to become an elite, or, a lot of them. Or I also believe, and of course this is how the last frontman came to be about. So I'm like, is this a new quest for a new frontman? Like now that O is dead? I believe Gi-hun will come back and play the games again for the sake of taking it down. I would like to see him bring some people to fight, but I mean, sometimes you end up not even liking the new cast members. So, I'm kind of scared to even say that. But, you want him to come back with some people so that, he has a freaking chance to win against, like, all those freaking guards and stuff. So, clues that we may have missed. I got a lot of my clues from YouTube channel New Rockstars. So, be sure to check them out. Clue number 1, Oh-il's name literally means number 1. During the first game, you have to watch it like really closely to see this one. But the doll, when they're playing red light, green light, the doll scans O, and his outline is a bit lighter than everyone else's. So they're looking at him differently. O votes for everyone to go home so that he can sleep better at night, knowing that people chose to come back to the game consensually. So that's his personal justification for what he does, basically. This wasn't in the video, but I personally believe, and I stated this before when I was talking about episode 2, Oh found Gi-hun and convinced him to come back on purpose. He wanted him to come back, and he was just there to convince him to come back and play. Oh never got gassed in the van when they all decided to come back, and you have to watch it again to see that. In the night violence scene, they only stopped when O cried out and said that there was madness. And I personally I personally spotted that as well. And I was like, oh, like that's crazy how they stopped when he said it, you know, but I didn't think anything of it then. Also, when he cried out and they were looking at him on the body temperature reader, he had a triangle on him, which is one of the things that the workers have on them. So it's very odd that he would have a triangle on them, which is their symbol for a boss, basically. When the secret detective was flipping through the record book, O should have been first because he's player number 1, but he wasn't. O should have been first because he was player number 1, but they don't need a record on him because he's literally the boss. When they were finding partners, O literally gave Gi-hun his jacket so that the guards would take it easy on him and show him favor in the next game. And I thought it was so that people wouldn't look down on him because Gi-hun had given him his jacket earlier to cover his peep. It was coincidental, but it wasn't the most coincidental thing to happen like during this whole series. During episode 6, when O was talking about how his neighborhood was just like the one that they were in, well, they were like, how would he even like be able to say all that unless he was there for like the infrastructure construction and stuff like that. But sometimes places just look extremely familiar and have all the characteristics. So that was one, like that was clearly a clue, but I didn't think it was that convenient. Apparently the neighborhood that they were playing the games for episode 6 in was the one that he raised his son in, and them playing their games was basically just supposed to be like a representation of the times he never played games with his son. So that's depressing. At the end of episode 6, when O gets shot, you don't hear a thud when he falls to the floor. And that's another thing that you have to go back for, but because I'm not going to sit up and listen to hear a thud when every person gets shot. But that's one of those super specific things that I thought was pretty cool. I'm terrible at measuring wax. Like, I literally should definitely be, like, using measurements when I do this. But I'm one of those people who knows too much for their own good. And honestly, all the players' deaths were foreshadowed in episode 2, apparently. Because freaking Ali, when he gets his boss's hand stuck in the thingy and it becomes mutilated, it was kind of like a sign because his hand became mutilated just like his was. And then he stole the money from his boss, and then freaking Sang-woo ended up stealing the marbles from him, and that's how he freaking ended up dying. And then freaking Sang-woo, remember he was going to kill himself in the bathtub when he came back, and then he got the card under his door. So he ended up killing himself on the field because he was a terrible person. Freaking Sae-byok, she held that freaking broker at knife point, and then she got her neck slit by Sang-woo. And back to the first episode, all the players that they show on the screen when they were playing the game chose the blue envelope. So there was a theory what would have happened if they had have chosen the red envelope, and I personally believe that they would have became one of the guards. And that is why if I ever get the choice of red and blue, I will always be choosing red. And Gi-hun's hair is now red because he wants to be the aggressor in this game of life. These candles will be available for sale coming soon. They are part of my quick little Halloween collection from my mini candle brand, Jamaica Me Candles. So if you would like a candle, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a bat emoji in the comments below, and the first person to do so will get the candle for free. So let me know what you think about my Squid Games analysis. Let me know if you have any theories that match mine. Let me know what you think about my life theory about the whole entire game and facility in general. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.